all those cobwebs. My house looks like a haunted house. Hello, my precious blueberries. It's your girl Bianca Rice here, your companion in both cleanliness and contemplation. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and I think it's going to resonate with many of you. As you can see, I'm busy clearing out cobwebs from every nook and cranny of my home, but what I really want to discuss is how we can clear out the cobwebs in our minds. You see, just like these pesky cobwebs that accumulate in the corners of our homes, negative thoughts and patterns can build up in the corners of our minds. And just like how I'm systematically working through my house, we need to work through our mental space, identifying and eliminating those thoughts that no longer serve us. Let's start by acknowledging something important. Our mind patterns, the way we think and process information, aren't something we're born with fully formed. They develop over time, starting from the moment we enter this world. Just as baby's brain is like a sponge, soaking up everything around it, our minds are constantly absorbing information, ideas, and beliefs from our environment. Now, here's a thought that might surprise you. Most of the thoughts we have, especially the negative ones, aren't actually our own. Shocking, right? But it's true. Many of these thoughts were planted in our minds by our caregivers, the people who raised us, our early experiences, and the environment we grew up in. Think about it. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this," where did that thought come from? Chances are it's not something you came up with on your own. It might be an echo of something you heard as a child, or a reflection of the insecurities of those around you as you were growing up. This isn't to blame our caregivers or anyone else. Most of the time, they were doing the best they could with what they knew, and they too were likely passing on thoughts and beliefs that had been planted in their minds by their own caregivers and experiences. It's like a big game of mental telephone, passing from generation to generation. But here's the good news, my lovely blueberries. Just like how I'm taking control of my home environment by clearing out these cobwebs, we have the power to take control of our mental environment. We can identify these negative thought patterns and start to clear them out. The first step in this process is awareness. We need to pay close attention to our thoughts, especially the negative ones that keep popping up. These are often the thoughts that keep us stuck in our comfort zone, preventing us from growing and reaching our full potential. It's like how I'm carefully examining every corner of my home for cobwebs. We need to examine every corner of our minds for these limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns. It might not be comfortable at first. After all, some of these cobwebs have been there for a long time, but it's necessary if we want to create a cleaner, more positive mental space. As I'm sweeping away these cobwebs, I'm reminded of how liberating it feels to clear out the old and make space for the new. The same goes for our minds. When we clear out those old, negative thought patterns, we create space for new, positive ones to take root. Now you might be wondering, Bianca, how do I actually do this? How do I identify and clear out these mental cobwebs? Well, my dear blueberries, I'm so glad you asked. Let me share with you some strategies that have worked wonders for me. First, start by simply observing your thoughts. Don't judge them. Don't try to change them right away. Just notice them. It's like how I first walked through my house and took note of where all the cobwebs are before I started cleaning. You might want to keep a thought journal for a week or two, jotting down the negative thoughts that come up repeatedly. Once you've identified these thoughts, ask yourself where they might have come from. Were they things you heard often as a child? Are they reflections of societal expectations? Understanding the source can help you see these thoughts for what they are, not absolute truths. but simply ideas that you've absorbed over time. Next, challenge these thoughts. Just like how I'm using my duster to poke at these cobwebs and break them apart, use logic and evidence to question your negative beliefs. If you find yourself thinking, "I'm not smart enough to do this," ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have that supports or contradicts this belief? Remember, thoughts are not facts. They are just thoughts. And just like how these cobwebs don't define my home, your negative thoughts don't define you. As I'm cleaning, I'm also thinking about what I want my home to look like when I'm done. The same approach can work for your mind. What kind of thoughts would you like to have instead? If you've identified a thought like, "I always mess things up," maybe you'd like to replace it with, "I'm learning and growing every day." Now, replacing these thoughts isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It takes time and practice. But every time you catch yourself thinking a negative thought is an opportunity to practice. It's like how I'm going over these areas multiple times to make sure I've gotten all the cobwebs. You might need to remind yourself of your new positive thought multiple times before it starts to stick. Another powerful tool is visualization. As I'm cleaning, I'm visualizing how fresh and clean my home will look like when I'm done. In the same way, you can visualize yourself thinking and acting in line with your new positive beliefs. See yourself confidently tackling challenges, bouncing back from setbacks, and moving towards your goals. It's also important to surround yourself with positivity. Just like how I'm opening windows to let fresh air in as I clean, you need to let fresh, positive influences into your life. This might mean spending time with supportive friends, reading inspiring books, or listening to uplifting podcasts or music. Remember, my dear blueberries, this process takes time, just like how it took time for these cobwebs to form, and it's taking time for me to clean them all out. It will take time to clear out and replace your negative thought patterns. Be patient and kind with yourself. Celebrate small victories along the way. As I'm nearing the end of my cleaning session, I'm feeling a sense of accomplishment and freshness. My home feels lighter, brighter, and more welcoming. This is exactly how you'll feel as you continue to work on your own thought patterns. Your mind will feel clearer, your outlook more positive, and you'll find yourself more open to new opportunities and experiences. Thank you so much for joining me today, my precious blueberries. If you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy one of my other videos that are going to be linked at the end screen. Feel free to check out my playlists. Until next time, keep those homes clean and those minds cleaner.